Here's what makes this story absolutely extraordinary. At that moment, Karen Kingsbury knew nothing about sports, yet she was about to become a sports writer for the Los Angeles Times. Her dad became her teacher, she proved to be a quick study, and soon she was covering high school athletics. But the universe had much bigger plans for this valley girl who dreamed of being a novelist while sitting on the shores of the Pacific Ocean, 30 minutes away from her San Fernando Valley home. You see, Karen wasn't just any college student. Born in Fairfax, Virginia in 1963 as the oldest of 5 children, she had been hooked on storytelling since she was 5 years old, when she memorized The Grinch Who Stole Christmas after her father read it to her. Her family moved constantly because of her dad's computer programming job with IBM, and maybe it was all that moving that truly solidified her love for reading. In books, she found friends she never had to leave behind. When they finally settled in California when she was 10, those Pacific Ocean dreams began taking shape. Fast forward to the early 1990s, and Karen's journalism career had taken an unexpected turn. A publisher offered her a lucrative deal to write true crime stories, and she jumped at the chance to explore new territory. For 4 years, she penned harrowing tales of real-life murders and crimes, but the darkness began taking an emotional toll. The woman who had memorized children's stories and dreamed of novels knew she needed to change direction. She wanted to write about hope, faith, and redemption, but the publishing world wasn't ready for her. Here's where the story gets absolutely fascinating and will give you chills. In 1995, Karen finished her first Christian fiction novel, Where Yesterday Lives, and it was rejected by publisher after publisher. 30 rejection letters. Can you imagine? But instead of giving up, this determined writer made a promise to God that would change everything. She fell to her knees after reading a novel by Francine Rivers and prayed, "If you will let me write fiction, I will use it to glorify you the rest of my life." That was her turning point, her covenant, her destiny being sealed. But the road wasn't smooth. For a full year, Karen contacted publishers almost daily, asking God if he wanted her to go back to waiting tables or working for newspapers, or if he really wanted her to write Christian fiction. She became beyond determined, telling herself, "Even if I'm the only one who reads it, this is what I need to write." And then, almost exactly 1 year to the day from when she first submitted her novel, a publisher came knocking. In 1997, Where Yesterday Lives was finally published, and Karen Kingsbury began her journey to becoming America's favorite inspirational storyteller. Now here's something that will absolutely blow your mind about timing and God's perfect plan. Karen's son Austin was born the very same week her first published novel was released in 1997. Talk about a season of new beginnings. But this wasn't just any birth. Austin was later diagnosed with congenital heart disease, which would profoundly impact how Karen understood suffering, hope, and the power of faith in the darkest moments. Let me paint you a picture of what dedication and divine calling look like in action. Since that first novel, Karen Kingsbury has written or co-authored almost 100 books and short stories. We're talking about over 25 million copies in print worldwide, with her last dozen titles topping national bestseller lists. She's a #1 New York Times and USA Today best-selling novelist who has created what she calls life-changing fiction and actually trademarked that phrase because it represents everything she believes about the power of storytelling. But what makes Karen's work truly special isn't just the numbers, it's the heart behind every story. Her most beloved creation is the Baxter Family series, which comprises nearly a quarter of her entire body of work. Set mainly in and around Bloomington, Indiana, these books follow the Baxters through life's highest highs and lowest lows, all while exploring how faith intersects with real-world challenges. Readers don't just read about the Baxters, they consider them family. The Baxter saga began with the Redemption series, co-authored with Gary Smalley, where we meet Carrie Baxter Jacobs, facing the heartbreaking revelation that her husband has been having an affair. Instead of throwing in the towel, Carrie is determined to save her marriage with God's help. This series launched a multi-generational family story that would span decades of books and touch millions of hearts worldwide. Then there's Ashley Baxter, Karen's personal favorite character, and a favorite among readers for a deeply relatable reason. Ashley was the rebel in her younger days. The tenets of faith and family that came easily to her siblings were difficult for her. She took the longer, more rocky road through life, but in the process, she found the richest meaning and most beautiful love. Karen says, "I think we all have a bit of the black sheep in us. We are all flawed and in need of unconditional love." Ashley let readers walk out that journey of redemption together. But Karen's personal life took an extraordinary turn that would influence her writing forever. In 2001, she and her husband, Don, adopted 3 boys from Haiti, literally doubling their family in a matter of months. Picture this: Karen was already juggling a massive writing career, and suddenly she had 3 more children to love and nurture. The inspiration for this adoption came when Karen was surfing the internet one night and stumbled upon a site listing children available for adoption in Haiti. She saw a picture of a 5-year-old boy named EJ with big brown eyes and a dimpled smile, and she instantly felt a connection. That divine nudge led to adopting not just EJ, but also 6-year-old Sean. Here's something beautiful about how Karen's faith shapes not just her writing, but her entire life philosophy. She met her husband Don at a local health club in Southern California, and their first date was completely unconventional. Don suggested they go to a movie, but with a kicker. "Can I bring my Bible? Maybe we could read it before the movie?" Karen had never even opened a Bible before, but she agreed to this unusual request. That night, Don wanted to read Philippians, and you could tell his Bible was very important to him. For the next 3 months, Don constantly brought up the Bible as a source of discussion. It was through Don that Karen developed her personal relationship with Christ, which became the foundation of everything she would write. Now let's talk about something that shows the incredible scope of Karen's influence beyond books. Her stories have been adapted into multiple Hallmark movies that broke viewing records for the network. The Bridge was so popular that Hallmark created a 2-part series, and viewers complained about having to wait for part 2. So the network moved up the release date due to popular demand. Then there's A Time to Dance, Maggie's Christmas Miracle, and several others that have become holiday traditions for families across America. But here's where the story gets even more exciting. Karen has ventured into television production herself. Roma Downey and MGM Studios have developed Karen's Baxter Family books into a TV series called The Baxters, which debuted on Prime Video in 2024. We're talking about 22 of her books being transformed into multiple seasons of television that bring the beloved Baxter family to life on screen. This isn't just adaptation, this is cultural phenomenon territory. And if that wasn't impressive enough, in June 2022, Karen opened her own production company in Nashville, Tennessee, called Karen Kingsbury Productions. Her first feature film, Someone Like You, based on her best-selling novel, represents a new chapter where she has complete creative control over how her stories are told. She's not just an author anymore, she's a filmmaker, a producer, a creative force who understands that her stories need to reach people through every medium possible. Let me share something that demonstrates Karen's incredible work ethic and the discipline behind her success. When she was starting out as a sports writer for the Los Angeles Times, she didn't know anything about sports, but her dad taught her and she proved to be a quick study. She had a reputation for finding the deeper stories, the human interest angles that would make readers laugh and cry. Her editor would always give her the tearjerker assignments because Karen had a gift for finding the heart in every story. This talent for emotional storytelling translated perfectly when she shifted to Christian fiction. Karen writes what she calls life-changing fiction because she believes deeply that stories have the power to transform lives, heal hearts, and offer hope in the darkest moments. Her characters face real struggles, infidelity, loss, illness, family drama, career challenges, but they also discover that faith doesn't eliminate problems, it provides strength to navigate them. One of Karen's most powerful series is her September 11th books, which include One Tuesday Morning, Beyond Tuesday Morning, and Remember Tuesday Morning. Written in the years following 9/11, these novels capture the grief, hope, and resilience of those whose lives were forever changed on that tragic day. Through fictional characters, Karen helped readers process one of the most difficult chapters in American history while finding meaning in the midst of unimaginable loss. Here's something that shows you the scope of Karen's heart for ministry. In 2017, she partnered with Liberty University to establish the Karen Kingsbury Center for Creative Writing. She's not just creating stories, she's mentoring the next generation of Christian storytellers. She teaches master classes on storytelling and works directly with students who want to use their writing gifts to make a difference in the world. Now let me tell you about something deeply personal that shaped Karen's understanding of healing and hope. Her father died from complications related to diabetes, which prompted Karen to make dramatic changes in her own health. Between January and November 2007, she lost 70 pounds by eating healthier and cutting out sugar. This journey taught her about discipline, transformation, and taking care of the body God gave her so she could continue the work He called her to do. But perhaps what's most remarkable about Karen Kingsbury is how she's remained grounded despite unprecedented success. She and Dawn are now empty nesters living in Tennessee, near 5 of their adult children. Her daughter Kelsey is married to Christian recording artist Kyle Kopecki, and Karen recently became a grandmother, which brings her tremendous joy. She's also expanded into other creative ventures, including a card and gift line called Possibilities that she developed with Kelsey. One story that perfectly captures Karen's heart involves a character named Irvel from one of her novels. Irvel was a woman suffering from Alzheimer's who lived in Sunset Hills adult care home. Her husband, Hank, the love of her life, had passed away 7 years earlier. But every day, Irvel would wake up, get her peppermint tea, sit in the front room, and wait for Hank to come home from fishing. While other workers would try to remind her that Hank had been dead for years, Ashley Baxter, who worked at the care home, would simply ask, "Irvel, are you okay?" And Irvel would respond, "Yep, I'm just sipping my peppermint tea and waiting for Hank." Karen used this character to illustrate something beautiful about love and faith. Sometimes the most profound truth isn't found in harsh reality, but in the hope that sustains us. Irvel's daily ritual of waiting with peppermint tea wasn't delusional. It was love in action, faith in its purest form. This is what sets Karen Kingsbury apart as a storyteller. She doesn't shy away from difficult topics like Alzheimer's, adoption challenges, marital struggles, or personal loss. Instead, she walks directly into these painful realities and shows how faith provides not escape, but engagement. Her characters don't live in a fantasy world where faith prevents problems. They live in the real world, where faith provides strength to face whatever comes. If you're someone who loves stories that matter, stories that touch your heart and challenge your perspective, you absolutely must explore Karen Kingsbury's incredible world. Whether you start with the early Baxter Family books to understand the full family saga, or jump into one of her standalone novels like Someone Like You, you're going to discover why millions of readers consider her America's favorite inspirational storyteller. And speaking of discovering amazing books and authors, you can find comprehensive guides to all of Karen Kingsbury's series, detailed reading orders, and incredible insights about Christian fiction at hookedtobooks.com. The team at Hooked to Books understands that reading isn't just entertainment, it's transformation. They've created the ultimate resource for book lovers who want to find stories that don't just pass time, but change lives. The Hooked to Books community knows that the right book at the right moment can shift your perspective, heal your heart, and remind you that you're not alone in whatever you're facing. When you visit hookedtobooks.com, you're not just getting reading recommendations, you're joining a family of people who believe in the power of words to change the world, one reader at a time. If you love content like this, deep explorations of authors who are changing lives through their words, you absolutely need to subscribe to this channel. We're building a community of readers who understand that books are more than entertainment, their ministry, their hope, their connection in a world that often feels divided. Don't forget to join the email list at hookedtobooks.com because that's where you'll get exclusive content, early access to author spotlights, and recommendations that are tailored specifically to your reading heart. Think of it as having a personal guide who helps you discover not just what to read next, but which books will speak directly to whatever season you're walking through. Karen Kingsbury's journey from sportswriter to the queen of Christian fiction reminds us that God's plans are often bigger and more beautiful than anything we could imagine for ourselves. That college professor who pointed at her and declared she would never stop writing, he was participating in a divine appointment that would eventually touch millions of lives worldwide. From those early rejections to becoming a best-selling author, from adopting children from Haiti to creating her own film production company, Karen's story is a testament to what happens when you surrender your dreams to God and trust Him with the details. Her trademarked phrase, life-changing fiction, isn't just marketing. It's a mission statement, a covenant, a promise that every story she tells will point readers toward hope, healing, and the incredible love of God. Whether you're facing your own season of rejection, wondering if your dreams will ever come true, or simply looking for stories that will remind you that faith makes all the difference, Karen Kingsbury's books offer exactly what your heart needs. Her characters become your friends, their struggles mirror your own, and their victories give you hope for whatever you're facing. So pick up a Karen Kingsbury novel today. Visit hooktobooks.com for more incredible content about authors who are changing the world through their words. And remember, in a world full of stories that discourage and divide, choose to read the ones that inspire and unite. Choose to be part of the community that believes in the power of faith, the beauty of redemption, and the incredible truth that every ending can be a new beginning when God writes the story.